High school and romance are commonly associated in anime, which is hardly surprising considering the target audience for a lot of these series, but that doesn't mean they're always well executed. Without the knowledge of what makes a setting work, it will be nothing more than a meaningless backdrop for the story to take place in, and this display of incompetency from the author can be one of the immediate indications of whether you're embarking on your next favourite series, or the 99th generic harem anime of the season. Looking at one of my favourite games for example, Dark Souls' incredible world building immerses you in its fantasy setting through its converging paths and the amount of freedom it gives, resulting in the player becoming incredibly familiar with their surroundings. This is what it means to fully utilise your setting. Bearing this in mind, a degree of finesse is needed to pull off high school romance in particular, and nothing has made me more aware of this than when reading SQ Begin With Your Name. SQ is a Chinese webcomic with a sporadic release and an equally varying chapter length, being anywhere from 3 to 10 pages. This unorthodox method of release may seem off-putting at first, but the manhwa is structured in such a way that this works to its favour. Early on, the shortest chapters are often dedicated to a single joke that's completely separate to the story that's currently going on. While it may sound awkward to cut away to something completely different in the next chapter, they're paced well to accommodate this, giving a satisfying enough conclusion in each one to smooth out this transition. Furthermore, an astounding amount of characterization manages to be pulled off. Most of the supporting cast managed to be established in these comedic chapters as well as the chemistry they have with one another, with Sunjing and Quifang's playful relationship demonstrating our main character's tomboyish nature. This subtle progression means that the plot-heavy chapters aren't slowed down by introductions and keeps the story chugging along at a nice pace. The seemingly disjointed, chaotic nature of the comedy while establishing characters greatly plays into the setting. Messing around with friends, getting into trouble, these interactions remind us that we're dealing with high schoolers here and manage to set the tone well with the relatable shenanigans of the cast. Building upon this, the manhwa is one of the best I've read in portraying teenage responses to what life throws at them. The characters are endearing and most of all carefree. Sunjing doesn't pussyfoot around when it comes to her love life. She sees a fellow student named Quitong one day and is dead set on going out with her, as simple as that. Love at first sight, if you will. This hopelessly optimistic and naive way of thinking is such a refreshing way to start a romance that it gained my attention immediately through its feel-good and believable approach. Not every teenager is an awkward mess, with these years supposedly being the best you have, and I appreciate the manhwa's different take on things. Some romance series waste your time with no pairings happening by the end, but Sunjing is so straightforward with her feelings for Quitong that I can virtually guarantee that won't be an issue. Harem series are subjected to this in particular, but thanks to side character relationships also blossoming, there's something for everyone here. While Sunjing's assertiveness is a highlight, she's complemented perfectly by Quitong's shy nature. She comes across as an elusive character to begin with, meaning that the comedic chapters establish her well while keeping an air of mystery about her due to her detachment from the plot. The two manage to complement each other well through Quitong fitting the more stereotypical role you'd expect from teen romance. The fantastic pacing of the manga makes certain scenes stand out, meaning that you can really feel the love Sunjing has for the older girl, drawing me into this romance immediately. SQ absolutely nails the atmosphere it intends to give off, and is one of the most wholesome series I've read. The optimism this has given me as well as some fantastic character interactions makes this a joy to read whether I'm invested in the romance or laughing at a silly one-off joke. Fantastically structured, excellently paced, and with a host of characters you'll adore almost immediately, this is one of the best series I read last year.